Hey, what's going on, Men's International Boot Camp? Let's get ready for our first class session. We are filming Feminism, online feminism. How to deal with it in 2023. How to deal with it in 2023. Now, this is going to be a 4-part series. So this is video number 1 of 4 parts. So video number 1 of 4 parts. Again, welcome you guys to the Men's International Boot Camp. We're going to have, like I said, online classes that are going to be phenomenal. Also, we'll have these classes live when you come to Medellin in one of our locations. So just sit back, get your notebook, get ready to take some notes, and get ready to enjoy an awesome class. Now, at the end of the 4 classes, we'll have a PDF. So don't worry if you miss something. We'll have a PDF that'll have a lot of the notes and a lot of the stuff from all 4 of the videos in there together, so you'll be set. But nevertheless, your notes are always the best notes for you. Now, with that being said, it's a new world. It is a brand new world. So we need to understand feminism. We really need to understand what feminism is. Not so much how we got started and all that mess, but what is feminism as it relates to the average man? And how can we function? How can we function in this society with feminism? Because again, it is part of the fabric of, our culture. And so it don't matter where you live in the United States, if you live in Egypt, if you live in South America, feminism is there. It is just part of the fabric. So, for those that don't even know what feminism is, the definition of feminism is the advocacy of women's rights. And so, when feminism first started, I guess you would say many years ago, the concept of feminism was just understanding that women had rights. As a culture, they had rights, they had a voice to be heard, and so therefore the movement of feminism was started. Now you fast forward to 2023, and it has taken a completely different tone, primarily in the United States. I can't say with living in a foreign country, South America in general does not have feminism in the same context as what they have in the U.S. I can't speak for other countries, but I can say that the U.S. definitely takes feminism to a completely different level in terms of the equality between men and women, the expectations between men and women. And so that's where, as men, we need to understand what it is, what we're trying to achieve in a relationship or a conversation. That could be whether you're at work, that could be a relationship with your wife, your girlfriend, your daughter. We need to understand what we're trying to achieve in that conversation and how feminism is going to work in that situation. And so, like I said, in these 4 courses, we're going to talk about the definition of feminism, which is what we're getting into right now. The second video will be how to react. How do you react when feminism is coming at you? You need to know certain behaviors that you need to understand, that you need to exude in order to get the proper response. Feminism in dating. And this could very well be feminism in any relationship. So whether it's dating, marriage, but how feminism works in a relationship in regards to, like I say, primarily the United States. Because again, when you get in foreign countries, it is a completely different world in terms of women's rights and what women are actually looking for in terms of equality. And then in the 4th video, feminism and social media. This is primarily more of an issue for younger people. Younger people are more into social media. They are more into influencers. They are more into, the digital streaming of things than the older generation. But nevertheless, feminism has definitely taken a role in social media. And men just have to be aware of that. You have to understand that it's not an equal playing field in terms of the gratification, the likes, the positive feedback that you get as a man, as females get, irregardless of what they post. This is not about, always having to post nude stuff, nude pictures, but just in general, most of the responses that come back to a female on social media in a normal context are going to be way more positive than the response that come back to a man in social media in a normal context. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But let's just kind of jump into the definition of feminism. As I said, it started out as an equality. Where we are now is the waters have gotten very muddy, especially in the United States, in terms of it's a fine line between the old school, being a gentleman, what you're supposed to provide, chivalry was the word, and a woman being equal. Now, again, you know, when you talk about virtue and you talk about what skills, when you talk about a family that are needed by both sides for that family to function, this is based on hundreds and hundreds of years ago methodology. And so when they said, you know, women were the home provider and men were the external provider, that was way before, again, you know, modern era of working, the modern era of inflation, economics, where it just takes two people's income to usually get what most people want out of a relationship. So with that being said, if both people got to work, then that changes the dynamics of the way it was written in the past. Here's where the waters get kind of muddy. The expectations. Because it's still expected for a man to do and handle these situations to be considered, quote unquote, you know, a father figure, a good man, a strong man. But for a female, they need assistance. So whether it's helping around the house, whether it's helping cleaning, whether it's helping working, whether it's helping whatever's going on, they are going to, and this is not individual, this is feminism. It is expected that you put in a percentage of your time away from what you're trying to provide, build a structure, get the family to a certain situation. You are still expected in this modern world to be involved in raising the children, changing diapers, getting the kids to and from school, whether it's cooking a meal, cleaning the house. I mean, pretty much entirely what a woman's primary role was back in, like I say, 50s, 60s, 70s, you are expected to have input in that. And so with that being said, most men aren't taught how to put input into that. You know, again, if you're not taught how to cook as a young man growing up, if all you do is eat out, and now you get in a relationship where you can't afford to eat out, yet both of you are working, then you need to know how to cook, because it's going to be expected that whatever you're trying to eat, that you understand how to prepare it to some degree. That is just expected if she's working 8 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? And so you need to understand what the expectations are. Nevertheless, like I said, when it comes to what a man's expectations are, that is a completely different ballgame. You know what I'm saying? It's not expected in the modern era for her to get out there and change the tires on the car. It's not expected in the modern era for her to get out there and evaluate why the car's not running. Evaluate what's going on with the roof. Get up there with a hammer. See, that's not expected. However, when it gets to the feminine side, that's why it's called feminism. They have no meninism. There is no men. And let me give you an idea. Yeah, we are here to educate, not to bash. This is not a group, or again, like I always tell a lot of the people that I talk to, you can go too far on either side, in my opinion. There's always a happy medium. When you get to the point to where your expectations are unrealistic, in my opinion, you have gone too far. And so this is not that type of course, not the type of boot camp, but we try to go to the extreme. What we try to do is confront the issue so that you get a better production out of what you're trying to achieve. And so with that being said, let me give you an example. A woman can say, I have standards. I don't want a man that makes less than a certain amount. I don't want a man that's short or heavy, or she can pretty much, it is socially acceptable for her to outline her expectations in a man. Completely acceptable. Men know this, and about the only thing you can do is if a woman wants a tall man and you short, put your head down, walk away. If a woman wants a man with money and you don't have none, all you can do is put your head down, walk away. If a woman wants a man that's physically fit or in shape, you got a couple options. You can either go to the gym, get certain, you can do something, but you have to conform to that if you want that woman. It is completely socially unacceptable for a man to say, I want a woman, and you can put a blank on it. It doesn't matter what that is. I want her in shape. I want her to have an income. I want her, anything you put on that line is considered you are trying to change a woman. And again, this is not individual women saying this. This is a culture. This is a movement. This is how it is. And we are just as much to be involved, to be blamed as women. Like I said, if you have a daughter and a son, when they're small, she's the princess, she's the queen, she can do no wrong. If a tear comes to her eye, you running to see what the problem. And if you got a son, suck it up, little man. He's the man. What you crying for? So we set the tone in terms of how the movement is manifested right at the beginning. And again, I tell all men, the only person that thinks your daughter is a princess is you. The only person that thinks she can do no wrong is you. The only person that thinks your son is the man, is without having any income, without doing, is you. Society has expectations on men and women. And the minute you don't live up to those expectations, that's when you start feeling like you are being, you're being judged. And so again, the definition and the most important aspect of feminism is understanding that we all created feminism. It wasn't just like some woman just fell out the sky and said, this is how it's going to be. Second of all, feminism took time to filter down into the DNA of an entire world. It took time. This wasn't just on a Monday. Women decide, okay, I had enough. I'm not cooking. I'm not cleaning. And again, man, you have to understand, neither one of these positions does the other one want to do. Just like a man is complaining, I don't want to cook. I don't want to change. I don't want to do things that's not natural. It's not natural for me to sit here and I'm a problem solver, as a man. It's not natural for you to sit there and be, as they say, vulnerable. This is a whole new emotional situation. Well, it's like for a woman. She's not trying to work 10 hours a day. See what I'm saying? She is not trying to do everything that has to be done outside and then still have to do her God-given role, which is nurturing. Which is the reason why you hear most women say their mind don't shut off. They got all these voice. Because they thinking about stuff that 50 years ago they didn't think about because they weren't out in that world. So now you done added more into a situation where primarily that space was used for the kids, the husband, the family. Now they got other people texting them. They got YouTube. They got social media. They got your problems. So it is so much going on, and they were not designed for that. Which is why they can't sleep at night and there's so much shit going on. Because they weren't designed to be out there dealing with all that. Just like men were not designed to be in the house. It's going to always, at the end of the day, be a divide. It's always going to be a divide. So men, don't think that women enjoy, as a totality, having to take on all these responsibilities. I think, again, I don't know, how you may feel about this, but I think if you could take the way it used to be 50 years ago and add equality to that, and what I mean by that is a housewife in the 20s was just known as a housewife. That was it. Her statue was measured on how well the kids looked, how well the house looked, how successful the man was. That's what it was based on. That's what they talked about at her tea parties, at the store, when they walked around, is how well the family looked. Well, I agree that's just not enough. Any of you guys that are trying to take care of a house, I can agree that taking care of a house is much harder than going to work every day. It is much harder. Which is probably why men never did that, because we would have completely not been able to handle that type of pressure. So nowadays, I think it needs to be more respect, more given to a person that's able to handle children, a house, budgeting bills, illnesses, cooking. Again, like I said, they don't even have regular meal times anymore. Kids got games and sports. They come in all times of the day. Women come in all times of the day. The husband comes in. So you don't have 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock. And again, I'm talking primarily the United States. So the woman that's at home trying to make sure everybody's eating healthy, trying to make sure everybody's, is not getting sick all the time, trying to make sure everybody's able to go to work. Now she got a full 24-hour restaurant going on in terms of trying to have stuff prepared. They even got a thing called now prep meals. What the? So, I mean, these are people that actually cook weeks and months meals ahead of time, package them in the refrigerator or the freezer to be able to quickly serve. That tells you how erratic the system is in terms of trying to have a schedule. Well, all this impacts women just like overtime impacts a man. Or, like I say, the car breaks down. Or just any inconveniences that you got to deal with off the bat. Same thing goes on, like I say, in the home. And so the definition is critical in us understanding why we are where we are and how we're going to try to, work through a lot of these obstacles. And so again, this is class number 1. We try to keep these right around 20, 30 minutes per class. Get ready for the second video. See you at the second one, Men's International Boot Camp.